Good day everyone. In this video lesson, we will discuss about variance and standard deviation of discrete probability distribution. Our objectives: first, illustrate and calculate the variance and standard deviation of a discrete random variable. Second, interpret the variance and standard deviation of a discrete random variable. And solve problems involving variance and standard deviation of probability distribution. So yung video lesson na to ay continuation nung lesson about mean of discrete probability distribution. So dapat napanood nyo muna kung paano i-compute yung mean of discrete probability distribution kasi continuation ito. Kailangan kasi may idea na kayo how to compute the mean of discrete probability distribution kasi to compute the variance and standard deviation, kailangan munang maunang i-compute yung mean nung discrete probability distribution. So we're going to use this formula, so this symbol, gamit tayo ng symbol nito. So that is the summation of x squared times, so yung p of x dito ay yung corresponding probability minus the squared of the mean of a random variable. So yung or the mean of the probability distribution. So i-squared natin yung probability distribution. Kaya kagaya ng sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, so kailangan may idea na kayo kung paano i-compute yung mean ng probability distribution. Kasi baka nauna nyo itong panoorin bago yung mean baliktad. So dapat unahin nyo munang panoorin kung paano kunin yung mean ng discrete probability distribution bago itong pagkuha ng variance and standard deviation ng discrete probability distribution. So yan yung formula to find the variance. And pagkuha naman ng standard deviation, madali na lang kapag nakuha na natin yung variance kasi yung sagot mo sa variance is square root mo na lang and then that is your standard deviation. So take note sa symbol na gagamitin natin. So sa variance may squared tayo. Okay? And then dito meron tayong nawala yung squared. So, pag binasa natin yung symbol na to, this is sigma squared. Okay? So, yan yung tawag sa symbol na yon. Alright, so your x, so yung x natin dito, that is the value of the random variable. And then, yung p of x, that is the corresponding probability ng values ng random variable. And yung mu, or yung symbol na ginagamit natin for mean of the probability distribution. Okay, so tandaan lang natin yung formula na to. By the way, may dalawang klase na how to compute the variance of discrete probability distribution. Pero yung i-introduce ko sa inyo yung itong isa sa mga formula kasi sa opinion ko mas mabilis to gamitin at mas madali yung gamitin. Alright? So, let's try. Example number 1. So, find the variance and the standard deviation of the discrete random variable x with the following probability distribution. So, we have the 0, 1, and 2 with the corresponding probability. Okay, for 0, 1/4, for 1, 1/2, for 2, 1/4. So, ang una natin gagawin is, kunin muna natin, find the mean of the probability distribution. So, yun ang unang step na gagawin nyo. Kailangan muna i-compute natin yung mean, no, ng probability distribution. So, ano nga ulit yon? Paano ginagawa? I-multiply natin yung value ng random variable sa corresponding probability niya and then get the summation. So, 0 times 1/4 plus 1 times 1/2 plus 2 times 1/4 at the answer is 1. So, yung mean ng probability distribution na to ay 1. And after natin makuha yung mean, so proceed na tayo sa step number 2. So, to find the variance. So, using this formula, i-multiply natin yung square of the value of the random variable by its corresponding probability. So, ang gagawin natin, i-squared natin lahat ng x. So, ito yung mga x natin, di ba? Yung 0, 1, and 2. I-squared lang natin yon. Tapos, i-multiply din natin sa corresponding probability. So, ang mangyayari, and then, isa-subtract natin yan. Isa-subtract natin. So, later on, so, ang gagawin muna natin, multiply muna natin yung squared ng random variable sa corresponding probability. So, lalagyan lang natin ng squared yung mga to. So, 0 squared times 1/4 plus 1 squared times 1/2 plus 2 squared times 1/4. So, ito class, so ang pagkuha ng variance, so gamit yung formula na to, so itong part na to, ito yan. And then, ima-minus natin sa squared ng mean ng probability distribution. So, ano ba yung nakuha nating mean value? So, that is 1. So, ilalagay natin dito, 1. So, class, paalala lang na dapat itong part na to ay magkasama. Ihiwalay nyo dun sa part na to. Kasi kapag tinuloy-tuloy nyo yan, magkakaroon o pwedeng iba yung makuha yung tamang sagot. Alright? So, magkakaroon ng pagbabago sa final answer. So, next is simplify nyo to. So, isa-isahin nyo lang 0 squared times 1/4. So, ang next natin gagawin, get the sum of the result obtained in step 2. So, add natin to. And that is, kapag minultiply natin at kinuha yung summation, that is 1.5 minus. So, ibig sabihin, itong class mula dito hanggang dyan, that is 1.5. Minus the squared of 1. So, 1 squared is still 1. So, ang variance natin dito is 1.5 minus 1. The answer is 0.5. Okay? So, ibig sabihin class, the variance ng example number 1 o yung probability distribution nito is 0.5. So, anong next natin kukunin since nakuha na natin yung variance? Of course, yung standard deviation. So, sabi ko nga kanina sa previous slide, madali na lang kunin yung standard deviation dahil kukunin mo lang yung square root ng variance mo. So, since nakuha na natin yung value ng variance natin, kunin lang natin yung square root niyan. So, yung square root ng 0.5, that is 0.71. So, again, yung mga final answer natin dito, yung mean natin is 1, yung variance 0.5, and yung standard deviation is 0.71. Another example, we have find the variance and standard deviation for rolling a single die. Okay, so we all know that we have 6 possible values, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And with their corresponding probability na bawat values, yung probability is 1/6 or 1/6. So, anong sabi ko kanina? Para makuha natin yung variance and standard deviation nito, ay kailangan muna natin makuha yung mean ng probability distribution. So, alam nyo naman yung proseso, i-multiply lang natin yung value ng random variable sa corresponding probability. So, 1 times 1, 6, plus 2 times 1, 6, plus 3 times 1, 6, or 4 times 1, 6, 5 times 1, 6, and 6 times 1, 6. And then, if you use calculator, or pwede nyo naman compute yan manually, so makukuha nyo dyan is 3.5. So, yung mean ng probability distribution natin is 3.5. Now, proceed tayo sa pagkuha ng variance. So, pag kinuha natin yung variance, squared natin yung mga x natin. Okay, i-squared mo lang to. And then, i-multiply pa rin sa corresponding probability. So, 1 squared times 1/6, 2 squared times 1/6, plus 3 squared times 1/6, plus 4 squared times 1/6, plus 5 squared times 1/6, plus 6 squared times 1/6. So again, dapat itong step na to ay dapat magkasama sila. So ihiwalay natin siya dito. So minus the squared of your mean. So ano yung mean natin na nakuha? That is 3.5. And then, add natin to. So, i-add natin to mula dito hanggang dito. So, pagka-add natin, makukuha nyo dyan is 91/6. So, makukuha nyo dito is 91/6 minus the squared of 3.5. So, 3.5 squared is 12.25. So, pwede nyo i-check yan using your calculator. And after that, so again, saan natin nakuha yung 91/6? Dito, mula dito hanggang dito. Okay? And then, minus natin sa squared ng 3.5. So, saan galing yung 3.5? Doon sa value ng mean natin. So, 91/6 minus 12.25, the answer is 2.92. So, ibig sabihin, yung variance natin dito ay 2.92. And then, yung standard deviation, kukunin lang natin yung square root ng variance natin, that is square root of 2.92. So, the answer is 1.71. So, again, yung standard deviation natin is 2.92. Yung variance natin is 2.92 and yung standard deviation natin is 1.71. Another example, the number of items sold per day at a retail store with the corresponding probabilities is shown in the table. So, find the variance and standard deviation of the probability distribution. So, for number of items sold, so for 19, the corresponding probability is 0.20. For 20, that is 0.20. For 21, 0.30. For 22, 0.20. And for 23, that is 0.10. So, ganun ulit yung proseso. Kailangan makuha muna yung mean value ng probability distribution by multiplying the value of random variable sa corresponding probability nila and then get the summation. So, 9 times 0.20 plus 20 times 0.20 plus 21 times 0.30 plus 22 times 0.20 plus 23 times 0.10. And then, the answer is 20.8. So, yung mean value natin is 20.8. Okay, so after that, kukumputin na natin yung variance natin. So, gamit yung mean value natin. So, again, paano computing yung variance ng probability distribution? So, squared lang natin yung values ng random variable. So, 19 squared times 0.20 plus 20 squared times 0.20 plus 21 squared times 0.30 plus 22 squared times 0.20 plus 23 squared times 0.10 minus the squared of the value ng mean natin. So, that is 20.8 squared. So, ito muna unahin natin. Ito. Kunin nyo muna lahat yan. So, compute nyo muna to. Simula dito hanggang dito. Get the summation. So, the answer is 1.56. So, after natin makuha ito, minus the squared ng mean natin, the variance is 1.56. So, pwede nyo i-check using your calculator. Okay? Pwede nyo i-double check yung sagot natin. And then, yung standard deviation natin is the square root of 1.56. So, get nyo lang yung square root ng 1.56 and that is equal to 1.25. So, again, yung variance natin dito ay 1.56. Tapos, yung standard deviation natin is 1.25. So, the variance is 1.56 and the standard deviation is 1.25. So, for the last example, we have find the variance of the number of monthly absences of Jemar based on his previous of absences as presented in the probability distribution below. So, the percentage or yung probability, no, na may 1 absence is 25%, 2, 30%, 3, 30%, and 4, 15%. Okay, so kunin daw natin yung variance. So, kagaya rin yan ang ginawa natin kanina, kapag naka-percentage siya, pwede nyo round off into, i-convert into decimal. So, kapag 25%, that is 0.25. Pag 30%, that is 0.30. Pag 15%, that is 0.15. Or, you can divide it by 100 para madali nyo makuha. So, para makuha natin yung variance, compute natin yung mean value. So, 1 times 0.25 plus 2 times 0.30 plus 3 times 0.30 plus 4 times 0.15. And that is 2.35. So the mean value of the probability distribution is 2.35. And then compute now the variance. Since variance lang ang pinapakuha, so squared lang natin yung mga number of absences. So that is 1 squared times 0.25 plus 2 squared times 0.30 plus 3 squared times 0.30 plus 4 squared times 0.15 minus yung squared ng mean value natin. Okay? So, if you the answer is 1.03. So, pwede nyo i-double check yung sagot natin. So, again, the variance of the number of monthly absences of GMR is 1.03. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button para updated kayo for more video tutorial. This is your guide in learning your math lesson, your Wow Math channel.